Hey, welcome to another episode, whatever you want to call it, of Strategic Moves with Lou. How you doing, everybody? I'm Mike Handron, a licensed real estate agent here in Wichita Falls, Texas, with Strategic Realty. Lou Italis is with me. She's the owner-broker, Strategic Realty. And things haven't slowed down one bit for us, have they?
No.
We're as
No.
busy as bees.
Yep. And we're starting more builds, and Jesus, it just never ends.
It keeps going.
It just never ends.
You know, it's an interesting thing. I was having a conversation with someone who's in the banking business, and he was talking about how, I mean, they're lenders. You know, they're doing home loans, new construction loans, existing homes for loans for existing homes, refis, and they haven't slowed down. And he was just shocked at how, in spite of the interest rate increases,
People aren't
things haven't stopped. Some of the refis have dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, because when you refi your house, you're basically wanting to refi for the interest rate savings.
Right. Yeah.
And you're gonna add on additional closing costs to the end of this note.
Yeah, right.
So you want to make sure that you are getting a better interest rate.
Right.
The only reason why you would refi your house right now is to be able to get equity out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even then, you know what? You really should just wait until the interest rates go down.
That's what I wouldn't right now. I would just sit on it, because I've thought about that. You know, if you could pull some equity out and you know, you'd make some,
do a couple of updates or repairs.
You know, new windows or doors, or, you know, remodel a bathroom or whatever it is you got to do. That's great for that, I guess. But right now's not the time, I wouldn't think, to do that.
I've considered doing it for mine.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like,
yeah.
Do I really?
The feeling that I get from the people that I talk to are on the financial side of all of this is that their feeling is that the interest rates will go down again at some point a little bit. I haven't talked to anybody that says, "Oh yeah, we'll have 2.5% interest rates again." I don't think anybody sees that coming back necessarily.
I like to be optimistic, because I don't want to get it to a 2 point.
Well, I do too.
2.5 or 2.95 or whatever.
I do too.
I know, that'd be fantastic.
But I think the feeling I get from them is they feel like something around 3.75 to 4.25 is probably a realistic expectation going forward. But that's going to be a while down the road. I don't think we're going to see anything substantive happen until after the beginning of next year.
You know, I don't know. We already had this conversation a little bit ago, but it's ironic to me that for, 2 years ago, even a little bit more than that, maybe 3 years ago, prior COVID, let's say, just to be fair, because COVID did put a monkey wrench in everything. But even then, during COVID, our interest rates were still going down.
Well, people were buying houses like mad.
Everybody was spending money. They had extra cash.
You had your government telling you, don't go to work, stay home. Everybody stayed home, but they kept spending money.
Yeah.
And part of what put us in the supply chain issue thing that we're in right now is, you stop manufacturing goods, but you're still consuming goods. So you empty all your warehouses and your stock house.
All of our reserves are gone.
Everything gets eaten up, and then, but we're not making any more stuff right now. Well, okay, so now we're playing catch up. And on the construction side of homes right now, well, in commercial too. Well, okay, here's a
good one for a lot of these production companies is that they have the ability to make a significant amount of money right now because demand is so high. A, they can charge more for their goods,
right.
And B, they can produce a volume that they've probably never been able to produce before.
Yeah.
And C, they have had 2 years to figure out a better way to do things. So maybe they don't have to spend as much on employees. Although that might be something where they're going to have to course correct on that one.
See, and I'm not sure that anybody spent any significant amount of time going, okay, how do we do it better? How do we do it more efficiently? How do we do it faster? It's just they just stopped doing it, and then they started doing it again. And you can't. I think what they're running into. I know what some of the manufacturers are running into is the way we did things in 2018, 2019. We can't do in 2022, 2023. Part of it is labor.
Well, labor is a big thing right now.
Part of it is a lack of labor.
Yeah.
Well, you got a lot of people that left the labor force and never came back.
They found other ways to make money. There's so many wealthy, do-it-yourselfers, do-it-at-home commentators, YouTube channels. There's so many people.
Influencers,
media. I can't turn around without bumping into at least one or two people on my social media that make money doing nothing.
I know.
So we got that.
Well, more entrepreneurs were created in 2020.
Yeah.
Than had been created in the previous 2 or 3 years combined. It was astounding how many people decided to launch their own business.
And this ain't going to be a popular comment, but maybe we needed the borders to be flooded a little bit so that we could get some of our labor force back.
Well, but this is the thing that I don't understand, though. We've already had millions of people enter the country.
Yeah.
Where are they? Where I'm serious. Where are they? If they want a job,
let's do it.
Where are they? Because they ain't working. It's like, where are they hiding out at? What are they? They're living somewhere, doing something, aren't they?
I know, right?
I mean, come on. We don't have the labor. The labor force has suffered so much in the last 2 years. And it doesn't look like it's poised to come back. And this has hurt us in the real estate industry on the construction side of things.
Oh, God.
I was going to say, here's a really great example. We've had one brand new hotel being built here in Wichita Falls on Kel East Freeway that's been under construction now. It feels like
one over there by the Whataburger.
Yeah, it's behind Whataburger. Yeah. It feels like it's been under construction for 3 or 4 years now. I know it's only been a couple of years, but it feels a lot longer.
Yep.
Part of what has hamstrung that project, I know, and also there's one on the north side of the city that's a fairly new hotel that's undergoing a complete total remodel. They've gone through a complete remodel. Both of those projects have been hamstrung by one thing: not being able to get windows. They've had windows they can't replace because these hotels. These are very specialized windows. You don't run down to Home Depot and buy a window off the shelf and slap it in the hotel. These are very specialized, very specific to that particular structure. They have to be custom made, or they have to be ordered. And so the glass production is behind schedule. Rubber seals that go inside the windows to hold
every element of every production of every item is hurting right now.
Yeah, the fiberglass that's used to make the frames that the windows are mounted in. It's all of those components of production have been hurt. And so now you've got these big construction projects that an entire project grinds to a halt over a dadgum window.
You have no idea. This is my life, y'all.
Yeah.
This is my life. I'm trying to build 6 houses right now.
Yeah.
And the reason, the way that it works for 6 houses is you got the framers, then they go to one house, and then the next house, and the next house, and the next house, and the next house.
Yes.
So as soon as they're finished with one, they go to the next one.
And just keep going down the line.
It's like the domino effect.
Right.
So when within that domino, something happens, and the painter runs out of paint.
Right.
It messes up the whole project.
Well, now you got to stop on the one you're working on, and you can't move on to the others until you finish that.
Exactly.
So you're stuck.
The framer runs out of 2x4s, and he can't get freaking 2x4s, and it takes 2 or 3 days to do that.
I had someone I know that does new builds in the Dallas area tell me that they've had entire projects grind to a halt because they can't get enough 2x4s or 2x6s or 2x8s or doors.
Or insulation. They run out of insulation, and so they have to wait to 2 or 3 days to get the insulation.
And so, and this is the thing when you're doing a new construction project like this. Okay, you're giving your client a schedule. You know, like in our case, we're saying 4 months, 16 weeks to do a build, and one of those dominoes doesn't fall just right, and something gets kinked up, and you have to stop working. And it delays you 3 or 4 or 5 days. Well, now, in reality, it's probably putting you more days than that behind. Because now you not only have to finish the part of the project that you couldn't finish because you couldn't give whatever it was you needed to finish the project, but now you're that much further behind on the overall project.
Right.
So a 5-day delay can actually turn into an 8 or 10-day delay.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some things that you can go around and you can just move on to the next. But when it comes to new builds, there's a lot of boxes to tick. Like once the framers are done, then you got to get an inspection. And then once the inspection is done, then you can go and do this part.
Right.
And then once that's done, you got to get another inspection. And then once that inspection is done, so it's like a lot of steps that you have to go each in order.
Well, and on a new build,
if you mess up the order, then you might mess up one of the inspections, and the inspections are what's going to keep you from being able to move on to the next.
Well, like your drywall guys can't do anything until plumbing and electrical's done.
Yeah, and the plumbing and electrical can't do anything until the framers get their final inspection, their sheeting inspection. Yeah. So, there's all these little steps that got to get done.
Yeah, and have to be done in the right order.
The fact the fact that you got supply and demand issues.
Oh. Yeah.
One house ran out of a window. We had one house missing one freaking window.
And you can't get the window.
And, I scoured everywhere. I even went down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, all the supply builders. Mm-hmm. I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to use a different color freaking window. I just totally different type of window. And that messes with my OCD so bad.
Well,
you have no idea. I was sweating in my sleep.
And I'm talking to people, right? Well, okay, like I've got one right now that they're looking at listing a house. Mm-hmm. They've got a checklist of things they've got to get done first. Well,
they probably don't have a handyman that can do it because all the handymen are busy. Right?
Yeah. So one of those things that they need is on the HVAC. It needs work. Yeah. So you call the HVAC guy, and he says, I can get to you in 3 weeks.
I got a good HVAC guy.
It's like,
you need one.
Okay, whatever. And you try to get these people, these contractors in place, and I'm hearing this now. I heard this from 2 different people in the last month. Mm-hmm. I had this guy come out. He looked at my project. We gave him $1,000, mm-hmm. and we haven't seen him since.
Yeah.
Okay.
That happened to me too.
Don't pay for the work until the work is started, please, or until it's done or something.
Well, a lot of times you do have to pay for materials.
That's fine, but know who you're calling. Don't just randomly. Don't just pluck somebody out of the.
What I would recommend is purchasing the materials yourself.
That's
and then
a good
holding
idea.
them in your house.
It's a good idea.
Don't let them hold on to the materials.
Yeah.
Don't give them money for the materials. Just go and purchase the materials that are needed, and then that way, if that handyman walks off the job or doesn't show up, you at the very least have all the materials.
That's right. There's a lot of good guys out here that do good work and have great reputations. They're also very busy. The ones that have the best reputations, have the best work ethic, that have the best references.
Yeah, I'm pretty stingy about giving out my handyman.
Yeah, but those guys are going to be those guys are going to be really busy.
Because I keep them really busy.
Yeah. Well, I know your guy, and you keep him on 5, 6, 7 projects all the time. The guys that are really, really good are going to be really, really busy, but their reputations are going to speak for themselves. And you could ask them for. Don't ever be afraid to ask for references when you,
Yeah.
especially if you're dealing with someone that you've not dealt with before, and you
Yeah.
don't know their work. Never be afraid to ask for references. I think that's very important, especially if you're doing business with someone that you've not done business with before. You don't know anything about them.
Yeah, another thing. Well, even the references, I don't know. I've referred handyman and construction people and plumbers and electricians and those kinds
Sure.
of that kind of labor to people before, and somehow or another they have disappointed. Like I had a contractor that I worked with for at least 6 or 7 years,
Yeah.
and I referred him to a friend, and they wound up screwing him over.
That's a
Not the
shame.
contractor, like they screwed over the work. Like
Yeah.
my contractor messed up, and I was just like, "What?"
Yep.
I was confused, and so it made me look bad. And
Right.
so I have kind of, I mean, if you need me to get some work done, I'll send my guy over to you and I'll supervise the work to get done, because it feels like he will not mess up if I'm over it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, this is a small town.
It
So
is.
your word is, is pretty important.
It's the thing.
You don't want to have a bad rep.
Yeah. For those of you that aren't familiar with Wichita Falls, and there's probably some of you listening or watching
Yeah.
the video podcast that aren't familiar with Wichita Falls, we're a city of about 107,000 people.
Yeah.
Something like that, 106 or 107,000
I don't
people.
know. I feel like we have a lot more than 100.
I think I think we're closer to one. I don't know about 130, but I think we're closer to 110. I think the census undercounted us. I know they did, but we're 100 odd thousand people, and the city very often the town very often operates like a town of 5,000. Here relationships are extremely important, and so you try to have good relationships with a variety of people in a variety of industries, especially when you do what we do. It helps to have those relationships with people in a variety of different industries, because you never know when you're going to need one, and you've got different fields of specialty, be it electrical, be it plumbing, be it HVAC, whatever. You've got all these different areas of specialty that you really need to know somebody well in all of those industries if you can, if not to refer to someone else to at least help you out when you've got a project, a new build or something that you need help on. So, it helps to have those relationships forged and in place, and to maintain them. And here it's easy to do, and sometimes it's really hard to do. It just depends on who you're dealing with.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those, for me, it seems a little bit easier than for most, because I got OCD and I'm just, people, I've had a couple of contractors that are like, "Oh my gosh, you're so intense." I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm really not. I like to make sure that I'm on top of it, because I feel like sometimes I can drop the ball. And if I'm not on top of it, then, and I drop the ball, then it's my fault.
Yeah.
So if I'm on top of it and I make sure that you're on top of it, then we'll get shit done. Then I'll get stuff done.
Mark that one.
Whoops.
Okay.
Because I like solving. I like solving problems. I like solving puzzles.
Sure.
I like getting things done.
Yeah.
So that's the way my brain works. My brain is a checklist.
Speaking of puzzles, I saw your Facebook post. Did you ever get that? Was it an ocean or what was it?
No, it's color. It's just 3 successions of color. So there's nothing on the puzzle itself. It's just,
so it's not really a picture of
variegated.
anything.
Right. It's just variegated color. And it's the worst. I'll never do that again.
Did you? So
I'm
you
halfway done.
You're halfway done.
I'm
So she started
halfway
this
done.
puzzle like what, 2 weeks ago or something? Or?
Last week.
Okay, so last week, so a week ago, as of the 10th of this month,
Yeah, it was last week.
and I'm looking at this
Last
puzzle.
Friday
I'm
or
going,
Saturday.
what are you doing here? It's like this
It
field
just
of
goes
blue.
from green
and-
to blue
Oh.
to purple. So it's just like these variegated shades.
I thought you were bored or something. I was like, what you?
It was me and my daughter. We had bought it actually when we went to Houston, when we went to the Museum of Fine Arts.
Yeah.
We bought it and we were like, "Oh, this would be fun."
No.
No.
It's
Never
been a bit of a nightmare.
But the whole idea is that I like doing puzzles, and then I'll put Mod Podge on it and I'll frame it. Yeah. And this one is a variegated one, and my daughter's really into art. So what I was thinking is we would Mod Podge it, and then she would use it like a canvas.
Okay.
And she could paint something over it.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And so it's basically like a puzzle canvas.
Okay.
I think it'll be fun for her once we get past. Because, the colors are so freaking similar. And so now you got to go based off of the hues of the pieces, and you got to do this number to see where the light is. And you got to match up the pieces. So you don't know which one you're doing, whether it's the shapes and that you're matching up or the color. And it is, never again.
You got way more patience than I got. No way. I'd have thrown that thing in the trash already.
I love puzzles though. I love to. That's the way my brain works.
Oh
and
gosh.
So for me, problem solving and getting stuff done just comes a little bit more naturally than I think for most. And my brain is like a checklist. I don't write things down very often, which is probably, now that I'm getting older, is probably something I need to work on because I do forget stuff. My brain is just not quite as youthful as it was 10 years ago.
See, so, and I make lists for everything.
I try to make lists, but then I forget to make lists.
I do lists for just about everything, I tell you.
So what I started doing is I started just, before I go to bed at night, I checklist my brain.
Let's pause a second here. I'm not seeing any audio over there. Are you?
Oh, shit. No, I'm not either. Uh-oh.
Okay, hold on. Let me check that. Something. The video is still up, but why is the audio not up?
Is it not over there? Has that not been recording?
No, it's recording. We got audio here, but
then we can match it up.
Okay. We're still. Let me make sure the video's still recording. Yeah.
And the sound is going on that thing. Yeah. That's odd.
Yeah, it is odd. Okay, that's something internal with ScreenFlow.
Yeah.
Is what that is.
So we'll just have to match up the sound.
Okay.
That's not a problem.
Okay. All right, we'll continue.
I can do that on ScreenFlow.
All right, we'll continue here. Okay.
So what I'll do is at night, before I go to bed, I'll checklist my brain. I need to get this done tomorrow, and this done, and this done, and this done. And then 9 times out of 10, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, now I need to get this done. So I don't know, but that's.
If I did that, I would wake up in the morning and something would have been erased from my list up here during the night.
I've tried doing, like not social media. Social media ain't worth it. Technology has advanced to the point where these things can pretty much do everything for us.
Yeah.
And as much technology as we have, I don't ever utilize it as much as I should.
Well, see,
we could totally.
Like what I do, if I've got a showing scheduled, I've got a closing scheduled, it goes in my calendar.
Oh yeah. Well,
right away. It goes in the calendar right away, and then also I use the notes feature a lot in there. If I don't, I prefer to write stuff down on a notepad.
Do too. I'm still kind of old school on
but
that.
if I'm in a hurry and I don't have a notepad, if my notepad, because I usually keep everything on a single notepad and I just keep going through pages.
What you need is one of those little ones that you can just put in your pocket.
Oh, I've had those, but I fill them up too fast. I blow through those things like crazy. And so, well, because I'm real bad about, maybe this is OCD on my part. I'll write on one side of the paper and not the back.
Oh yeah.
Because it bleeds through.
Yeah.
And then my brain goes, oh, it's confusing. So I'll just use, so then I end up using the pad a lot faster. But
You need to get the ballpoint instead of the gel ink.
I guess, I don't know. But I get, sometimes I'll use the notes feature in the phone, which is great. But closing, showings, anything like that automatically goes in my calendar.
Yeah.
So I don't miss anything.
Oh yeah.
And I
those
set up
kinds
the
of things.
reminders and all that kind of stuff. So, well, like I did a closing just before I came over here today to record this show.
Yay!
So, and I got another one Monday.
You've been rocking.
I've been busy.
Yeah.
I've been doing pretty good. And got a new listing coming up here in Wichita Falls.
You have anything over in Lake Wellington?
No.
I need something in Lake Wellington. You need to go
Well,
knock on some doors.
Go knock on
See
some-
if people- see if
Would you
people
like to
wanna
sell your house? Would you
So
like
if you're
to?
thinking about selling your house in Lake Wellington, I
Yeah.
have a client for you.
Well, it's like I've got one. So
They want 2-story.
I've got 3 people I'm shopping for right now.
Yeah.
And they're all looking for, 2 out of the 3 are looking for house and acreage. And boy, that's been the real tough one here.
That is the unicorn. Although there's a couple that just came up yesterday that have acreage.
Okay.
You might take a gander at that.
I need to look at those. I may have missed them. I don't know if I've sent them so much stuff in the last 48 hours. It's hard to keep up with. But we just keep going through different. Basically, I'll give them as many options as I can find and send it to them and go, okay. And they're all out of town, so we're going to do virtual showings first. Do a video walkthrough. And then if it looks like something that they really want to look at, then they'll drive in to do it. But that's what I'm finding, too, with a lot of people, even people that live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, are not so eager to drive in to look at houses right now
Oh, the gas prices.
because the gas prices are so high.
Yeah, you don't want to be spent. I mean,
Well, our
it's like
national
$75.
average-
Every time I go down to Dallas, it costs me like $75.
Our national average on gas has passed $5 a gallon for the first time ever. The national average, $5 a gallon. I paid $4.59
Yeah.
2 days ago.
I'm on E right now, and I'm just milking it. Like, how many more miles can I get?
Running on fumes and hope.
Yeah.
I know. I'll joke that I'm somewhere between E and W, empty and walk. And you just it's well, and I mean right now you want to get
so
every dollar out of it you can, because even your most economical vehicle. I mean, I'm burning through 3 tanks of gas
A week.
about every 7 to 8 days.
Wow.
That's what I'm burning through.
I thankfully enough, I work and live kind of very close to,
See, and I don't.
and so if I use a tank of gas a week.
See, I'm on the other side of the county, so
Yeah,
I mean,
know. I think I can get 1 tank of gas every 2 weeks, unless I go to Dallas. Then
I
then
wish.
it's 1 a week.
I wish. I'm burning through about 3 tanks every. I'm going to say every 8 to 9 days. I'm filling up. For sure, and or every 4 days I'm filling up. So okay, 2 tanks of gas about every 7 to 8 days, 3 tanks in 10 to 12 days.
Yeah.
Which is still a lot.
And you don't have a very big car, so
No, I've got a big SUV. And I love my SUV. I love the comfort of it. I don't love filling it up.
it's growing weeds.
It's a
in your yard.
25-gallon tank. I gotta donate a piece of my liver every time I
Gotta go
fill
get it.
up.
Well, I saw a meme on Facebook. It was like, "Yay, I got approved for my loan
We
to go get gas."
closing on a tank of gas this week.
We're closing on our loan this week to go get gas.
Well,
Get a
seriously,
gas card.
if you've got a house that you're thinking about selling, it's still a great time to sell your home. There are
still is.
still gobs of buyers out
We
here.
can get you extra gas money.
Exactly. There you go. You sell your house, you can fill the tank up all the way to full. we've got gobs of buyers out here that are still looking for houses.
Yeah.
And especially if you've got property. And when I say acreage, I don't mean 20, 30 acres.
No,
I'm talking,
just less, 5 or more. Or
5?
Or less than 5.
5 to 10 is
to
kind of typical what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So if you've got a house and 5+ acres of property that you could sell, this would be an awesome time to do it because there's people looking for this. And like you said, it's a unicorn. You just don't have it available out here right now, Lou. It's not there.
And
so,
if you want to buy something with 160 acres, there's one out there. Did you see that one?
I did.
OMG. OMG
Yeah,
and WTF.
It's a little pricey.
It is a fabulous home, though.
It is. And there's some, just about any price point you're looking at, 150,000 plus is doable right now in most cases.
Yeah.
And you can get into a decent house. 250. We can get into a nice house for 250. You can get into a really nice house for 250 and up.
Yes, sir.
150, you can get into a decent home. It may need a little bit of updating, but in most cases it's going to be okay.
It'll be livable. It just probably won't be updated.
Yeah, it may look like 1985 in there. It could be. It could be some paneling.
Green tile. Green tile is my favorite.
I've been in a few of those that have the avocado green countertops and the avocado green tile, and I mean that is so 1970s right there. But you know what? There's still a buyer for it. There's still a buyer for it. They're out there. So if you got something you want to list, you need to give us a call. Call me, Mike Hendren, 940-232-3876. I'd love to talk to you about listing your home.
Nothing.
What?
You were just saying your phone number, and I'm like, that's not our number.
That's my number. That's my number. That's how they get to me.
Yes.
Now, if you want to get to the office, it is
940-689-7900.
There you go. And strategicrealty.net is the website.
Yes,
Easy
sir.
to find. We got a few properties there you can peruse, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really want to list your home, seriously, this is still a really good time to do it. And I would advise that you get on it and get on it soon. Give us a call.
And if you have one in Lake Wellington, 2-story, give us a call.
She's got a buyer for you. There you go, guys.
A maximum of 7. I would say probably 800,000 is their top.
That's their top dollar. That's a pretty healthy budget.
They want it to be ostentatious.
Well, go big or go home.
Yeah, 30,000 square feet or more. It's their forever home, and they've got a lot of kids, so they need something big.
And that's the thing. In this market, you can buy a lot of house and a lot of really nice house for that kind of money.
Yes,
you really can. Yeah, you go out to the West Coast, not so much, but here you can.
Well, and that's what was funny is that I have another client that's looking for something in Dallas Fort Worth, and they were like $2 million with a little bit of acreage.
Oh,
and I was just like, what? It's got a little bit of acreage, and it's listed for $2 million.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you could get that house up here in Wichita Falls, and it's not even $1 million, maybe half.
$2 million, you can get all the cattle with it too. Just say it.
The whole kid, dude, you could get 160 acres and a 6,000 square foot house.
Yeah.
With a pool and a jacuzzi.
There you go.
And a backyard to die for.
That's right.
And it wouldn't be more than $2 million.
Nah.
Well, it would be like $2.5 million actually.
Yeah. Chump change. Again, strategicrealty.net's the website. 940-689-7900 is the office.
Yes.
940-232-3876 is how you get to me personally. And we look forward to hearing from you guys. Take care. We'll see you down the road with another episode of Strategic Moves with Lou.
Toodles.